Okay. So thank you very much for being here. This talk is also going to be in English because we have audience that we want them to understand and not be like for an hour like. So thank you very much again. Thank you Primavera Pro for enabling us to talk about these things. Um, Thank you to Unison and to Young for curating the digital licensing program for Primavera. And thank you to these powerful ladies today. Thank you for
Thank you.
being
Thank you
here.
for having us.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure. So we're going to talk today about what's going on. And I'm going to set my timer because Virgo, you know how it is. So I know exactly what's going on here. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Iberoamerican market. We have all heard that there's a boom going on, that we are growing, that productions are happening, but we want to dive a little bit more into what's going on and most of all give tools, if possible, for you to understand the market and to understand how to approach the market, what is needed and how to do it and such. So the first question would be, who is catalog representative or artists? Just raise your hand. Don't be shy. One. Just two catalogs? Okay, so who are you people?
Who are you?
Managers. Who are managers? One manager.
Artist, no artist?
Two artists. Okay, okay. Good. And you, what are you guys? Just say it out loud. Yeah.
So we just started to study music supervisor.
Good.
Ah, okay. Good job.
Okay, good. Welcome then.
Okay.
And here, what are you?
Spy.
Music supervisor. Cool. Record label. Good. Licensing. Cool. Okay then. So yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're good to go. I'm gonna ask each of you, ladies, please to introduce yourselves in a brief way. Just name where do you come from, what do you do, and a little bit of your own perspective on how do you see the sync world in Iberoamerica comparing to, let's say, 10 years ago.
Mhm.
So who wants to start? Paulina, who wants to start?
So I'm Paulina Marquez. I'm a music supervisor. I'm Mexican, but I'm based here in Barcelona. I work mainly for TV and films for the Spanish and the Mexican markets. And in my own experience, I would say that there is definitely a big boom going on. I remember when I first arrived, so I've been living in Europe like for 13 years now, but in Spain, I've been for 6 years. When I first came here, all my work was based in Mexico. So I started working on my databases to reach out like to production companies. And I remember to come back from the meetings very frustrated because they would tell me that first of all, music would always have a very little amount like money assigned in each production. And they didn't work with music supervisors. Like most of them, I mean, what the music supervisor does, it was basically done by different people, whomever could do it at the moment. And they would use a lot of production music to as a resource for like the musicalization of the projects, which was obviously very depressing for me to hear. And I think it was like a year after that. So when I started working on Elite after that, I started to have a lot of requests for different production companies because what happened was that platforms, that arrived and started producing a lot here, and they started to demand the role of the music supervisor to be actually included in the productions. So I've been lucky enough to work with, like big and amazing projects in Spain that already had the experience of working with a music supervisor. But I've also had the experience of working in productions where they haven't worked with a music supervisor, where the director I had one where the director didn't want to talk to me because he didn't know how. He was like, "Who is this woman? What are you gonna do?" And it was, and I had to actually explain them what was my role, what I needed from them in order to do my job. So yeah, it's seen a big change for sure.
It's good that it's your turn because you can talk from the platform perspective. Because I do agree, platforms have a
Yeah, they've
big
had
role in the whole
yeah, for sure.
thing.
So I'm Marjorie Shecker. I grew up in the States, but I have a Dominican family. I've
I
been
love that.
Yeah, thanks. I do too. I've been in Madrid now for 15 years, and I originally was at a rights holder. I was at Warner for a total of 14 years, both in the U.S. and in Spain. And now I'm at Amazon Studios, Spain. I am the music executive for the Spanish slate for all of our films, scripted shows, and unscripted programming. And yeah, it's changed a lot. The amount of projects that have come out of Spain. When I started, it's like 2013 when I started at Warner here. The majority of the budget that we would have to make as the sync team, it was like 80% advertising, because advertising was what gave you the most money.
Mm.
And then TV and film was like a small little 20%, because there weren't that many projects. There were like 3 scripted shows, Cuéntame. It's
Mhm.
been on forever and ever. And then like a couple other ones, and then, a couple other ones. And then that was it here in Spain. And then you started seeing, like, I would say like around COVID, like
Yes,
a little
yeah,
bit before
early that-
COVID, but
that's where
definitely
it
after
will
COVID, but a
happen.
little bit before COVID,
Yeah.
you started getting more platforms in the territory, and then all of a sudden there was an explosion
Yeah.
of productions, not just series but also films, and it just took off like fire, sorry, and it was crazy the amount of requests you were getting. The difficult thing is that there was a lot of demand, but on the rights holder side, for example, the budgets were still, they're nothing comparable to other territories. So it was like a big learning curve.
We're still like that. That
I know, yeah, I know.
See, I thought there's
It's gotten better. I've gotten better and worse. But anyway, so then when I left and to Warner and I came to Amazon, yeah, I then learned about the industry from a different side, the other side of the table, and it's been eye opening. We do have a lot of projects. I'm surprised at how many projects we keep, moving forward with every year.
Yeah.
But one, the Spanish market is putting out some really, really interesting film and
Yeah.
and series that are internationally watched, because it was very localized before. No one ever watched Spanish series or Spanish, and there was like a couple. It was like an Almodovar film, and then that was it. Nobody ever had watched anything else outside of Spain. But now, not only with Money Heist and Élite and things like that, you're seeing these Spanish productions having a lot of going wide. I mean, working on the YA trilogy of the culpas, culpa mía, tuya, and nuestra, which is based on like a YA novel trilogy, and it's exploded. Like it's done way better. Like it's done amazing here, but not only just in Latin America, but also in the U.S. and in France. It's amazing how far the Spanish productions are traveling nowadays. So there's more demand,
Yeah.
more pressure, and then yeah, it's it's completely changed how the industry, and especially how music supervision, and on the rights holder side, like the volume that they had to deal with has changed dramatically in the
Right.
past
right.
5 years, 6
We're all
years.
exhausted.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
I need a break.
We don't. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
this thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, Marjorie. I do have other questions
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm
for you because this we're talking about what happened in the last 10 years, but from COVID till now, it has also changed.
Yes.
It has been like a roller coaster.
Mhm.
Like, yes, there is a budget. No, there's no budget. No, there is a budget again. And when we are all like, oh, okay, so it's been like
Yeah.
this. So Anna,
Yeah.
what's up from your perspective? What's going on?
So I'm Anna. I'm from Barcelona, and 10 years ago I was not in the music industry yet as music supervisor, but I've been working in a music consultancy agency since the past 8 years. And I would say I did my first audiovisual production around 3-4 years ago. And so far I've done 7. So definitely there's been an increase in terms of new productions coming in. So yeah, excited to see what's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
So you feel that there are more and more productions coming your way every year?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, since the past 2-3 years, yes. Especially after COVID, as you say. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I am also Mexican. I live in Tenerife. My name is Pati Carrera, the only one left. And I do movies and series, and I do a little bit of advertising in Peru. And it has also been really interesting to see how advertising has been moving around in Latin America and the budgets. I am surprised. I thought, oh, Peru, like it's a small territory.
No,
Oh,
advertising is
no.
a gold mine,
Oof,
baby.
oof, they do
Not
have
not
good
even to mention
budgets.
Brazil and the
Bueno, pero Brazil, it's another word.
Yeah.
They have a huge market of their own. They are not even interested in going to other markets.
No, they don't
Just
care.
not just enough. They don't care.
That's true.
See, now they want to export their music through syncs because they see that is the most intelligent way to do it in terms of building new audiences in other territories and all of that. But it's not like they are doing it because they need the money at all. They do have a huge market of their own, and they're not worried about that. And the amount of productions that they have,
Yeah.
it's
well.
impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And they are lacking music supervisors,
They're kind of like the India of South America.
That's true.
It's true though, right?
It's true.
You know, they make their own productions that are they're very regional. They don't care that much about going outside. They don't work with a lot of music supervisors. My colleagues in India tell us that, and they've had their their work cut out for them. But their end market is huge.
Yes.
The productions they put there, I love productions like more than I can probably even contemplate because they are just constantly putting out stuff.
Yeah.
They opened a guild of music supervisors.
They did.
Just to make a parenthesis here, Paulina and I, we are part of la Asociación de Supervisión Musical de Habla Hispana. You can find here Rupert Hollier, who is the president of the Guild of Music Supervisors in the UK and Europe.
He's at Flax and Kale.
Yes, he's having a salad right now. And there are guilds in Canada. There's Everton Lewis Jr. He's also a board member of the guild in Canada. He's around here, the one with the hat and the feather. It's true. You're gonna see too. Old fashioned. And there is l'Association, and there is l'Association in France. Kivold is the president. So there are all these associations and guilds going on around the world. And in Brazil, they are like 5 music supervisors, but they are teaming up with platforms to start educating new supervisors. So for those new supervisors and who want to learn and such, well, know that there is a market for what you are learning, and we need help because we want vacations.
Exactly. Also, it's really good to get other people's perspectives, and you work with the same 3 people or whatever.
Yeah.
The music starts to sound the same in all the productions.
Yeah.
Just like working with the same composer or the same artist for every single program. You need diversity. You need other people's musical tastes. You know what I mean? Like it's because I know that supervisors can do anything.
Yes, of course. No, I understand you, but the thing is, I think that depends a lot on the type of project you have.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I don't know. For example, right now, I have like 4 projects going on, and one is like old vintage Colombian music. Another one is Dominican Republic music. Another one it's like only opera. So
Yeah.
they have nothing to do with each other, and it's not necessarily. Of course, you can see. Um, yeah, it's like there's like your mark, your signature. Yeah, of course. But I think I don't know. I don't think everything sounds the same
I agree. I agree.
because it depends on the project. And in the way you're using the music, because the music, like something I was talking about yesterday here, I don't know if it was with you maybe, but it's about why are you using music in your production? What is the end? How do you plan to use it? Because music can be used in many different ways. And it depends on how you use it in the music you're going to choose. I can choose to have a super dark scene with a very tense music that is really underlining that tension, or I can use a super dark scene playing you a very beautiful track. I started El Cuerpo en Llamas with a body being burned with Love Me Tender by Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
So it depends.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, so what's been going on from the platform perspective, with the post-COVID and this super like hype that we were all like producing things because we were all in our couches like this whole time, but then reality came back and life again. And what happened? I like, did you feel at some point that it came like down a little bit from the rush that it was?
I mean, at least in my experience, I hardly watch a lot of films and TV shows anymore. Well, I guess now that the weather is good also, like, but of course when I'm still a film lover. But yeah, maybe this boom is kind of deflating, as you say, like, um yeah.
Or maybe it's normalizing it. No?
I think that there is the issue of oversaturation. Too much to that you can choose from. And so, oh God, it's from a line from The Incredibles. The bad guys like, if everyone's super, nobody is. It's the same thing. It's like if there's so much
Yeah.
variety, nothing is special anymore, because it used to be you would have select projects and you would wait for them, and you would look forward to them, and there was not that many. But now there is so much out there that people kind of get, that they're like, I don't even know what to watch anymore. They get like decision paralysis because it's their bomb.
Yeah, but at the end they watch it, and they watch it in a day. So the thing is, I haven't felt downward like at all after COVID. I felt like the rhythm is the same. Like productions are always running, are always starting with all platforms. It's totally ongoing. And the thing is, the way we watch like content now, it's like before you used to watch a film, and that was enough. But now people like it's insane. A series comes out, and people watched it in like 2 days. You're like, dude, what did you do with your day? Oh, right, really. And the thing is, so the platforms need content and new content and new content. So I haven't felt like, the the level of the productions or the demand have diminished after COVID. Like, at least in my experience in my work, it's always been like, okay, we have to produce all the time. What I felt in COVID was like the times we had for deliveries at some point, they shortened.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of conflicts, with the shootings and a lot of delays and a lot of, and people were in their houses and they wanted to, watch things. But I haven't felt it has.
No, I don't think it went down. I just think that the consumption of it is not what it used to has changed. Yes, the streamers and the production companies and the lineal TV broadcasters, they're still churning out things and they're still requesting to make more and more productions. But because of so much like variety and choice out there,
Of course.
the viewer consumption is not what it used to be.
Right.
You could always count on this show's coming out and everybody's gonna watch it. And now, like the first weekend it comes out, and now the like how they consume things is changing because not everyone is doing that. We have to like the era of like don't go on the internet because of spoilers is kind of like done because you can't avoid it. Like people just talk about things before. Like you used to try to stop saying things on the internet, but now they really don't. So, and I think that's also because the way that things are, because you don't know if you're going to watch it that first weekend or if you're going to watch it like a month after it comes out or a year after it comes out.
Netflix just announced, and correct me if I'm wrong with the amounts, but they announced a really big investment in Mexico for productions for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was
Everybody turns
huge, like a billion or something like that. And
Yeah,
we
I
were
read
all in
that.
Mexico
Yeah.
like, woohoo! We're gonna have,
Come on and con Netflix.
projects and budget to pay licenses. Like, how we were talking about the difference in the markets between the licenses that they quote and pay in other territories. And
We were
there's
talking about that just now in the lunch we had. It's insane.
and I know that it's tricky to talk about budgets, so we're just gonna go through the whole thing like this, not going too deep into that. But that means that there is investment to produce new content. There is going to be more productions that will need more music. And now I would like to shift the conversation a little bit into content. So what are we using, and how have you perceived that kind of music has changed? I know that it has to do with the project because every project requires something different. But at least in my case, I have seen that I am able to use more music from other countries in other languages. And before I was required to use more music in Spanish, for example. And then now I am able to do more things and play more with this kind of idea of globalized world, which is true. And that means I can put a song in Portuguese or in French or in Italian, or I don't know, whatever. How do you feel about that?
Well, oh, sorry, you can go.
Yeah, as you said, it depends on the project, of course. But for my experience, it's really intentional when we choose a song for a scene. Like maybe the audience don't even realize, but like the lyrics will match the what's happening, or the artist even sometimes is connected to I don't know, like it's a queer artist and it's a queer TV show. So it's always super intentional, the selection of the song, and it depends on the project. Like, yeah, there are some projects that really don't want any international music, just local, traditional, or from a specific year, music from a specific year. But then I also worked in like super local productions that wanted a super international song, so it would like get a wider audience in the end. Yeah.
Right.
So when I started on the rights holder side here, um, the majority of the songs that were being requested were in English, and they were really recognizable. Um, or there were,
Claro, pero for advertising.
no, also for
Oh,
TV, yeah, like, but then and then some, recognizable like Spanish, but like catalog things. You could not get an independent artist, an emerging artist into like a TV show because in films a little bit, but TV shows were just really like they wanted the recognizability factor.
Mm.
And then that started changing with the boom of the streamers and, the ramping up of the productions. Um, so I think that we now make a conscious effort to have the mix of, in all the projects that we do, of some things that are recognizable, like something internationally recognizable, something that's locally recognizable. And because sometimes you have to fill spaces, but you don't have budget to like, pay for the whole thing being really big songs. We give
Your budget.
yeah, exactly. Hey, Banjo, so what do? You go to some up and coming artists, some independent artists that are excited to work. I mean, you pay them obviously, but it's you're able to license it for something that's more economical as opposed to the other bigger artists, and you're able to give them space to be discovered. They also, this has, usually like newer usually, so the sound is newer, and you're able to create something different and give a different vibe to the scenes. Um, we also have to be really, so depending on the program, especially for like the YA slate that we work on, that the idea is for it to go international. We have to make sure that it is a mixture of English language songs and Spanish language songs, and specifically Latino, like from Latin America, Spanish language songs, so that the whole soundtrack will travel as much as possible. You want the audience to be engaged because, for example, if it's all Spanish music, sometimes in Latin America that doesn't resonate. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's all Spanish, like from Spain, it doesn't always resonate as something that has something.
Yeah.
It depends on the artist, but you know what I mean?
No, I understand.
Because there's some things that are just really Spanishy, and then like they don't want to hear it
No,
somewhere
I
else.
completely understand.
You know what I
Like this project that I'm working on, the British one,
Yep.
so the trailer.
Yes.
I was talking to this guy that was working on the trailer, and he told me, yeah, mate, I sent this song, and he told me the band, and I was like, but that's Spain. And I told him, like, I know it's Spanish, but for like Latin people are not going to recognize
they're not
with the Spanish song. I completely get that.
Yeah. So it's like sometimes, I mean, so if the plot or of the show is already inherently, Spanish, you don't want to isolate Latin America by making the music also like too Spanish too. Sometimes, depending on the show, because you want because you want because you want it to you see the possibility to travel, so you have to like put something international in there to engage some the fan outside.
Yeah, you're talking from the perspective of the platform. Obviously. Yeah,
Claro, because you want audiences
You want
from all
audience
over.
all over,
But
exactly.
also,
me as a music supervisor, I don't think about that.
I know.
yeah, but
And I talk to the director, I'm going to the director, and obviously it depends on the type of project, for sure. Like for example, one of the most amazing soundtracks I see
that I did, I love my work and I love myself.
but I really liked it. It was the one from The Burning Body, El Cuerpo en Llamas, that we did for Netflix. It had that one song from Elvis because it was like beautiful and perfect for the scene. But the rest was only hardcore Spanish, go to the karaoke music. And some people loved it and some people hated it. But it was a soundtrack that really, like had an impact. Like people were telling me like, I love it or I hate it,
Okay.
But people had a really big reaction towards it.
Right.
And I think it really accompanies the story, it works. Because at the end of the day, I understand from the perspective of the platform, they're thinking about an audience, I'm thinking about the film. I'm thinking about the narrative. I'm thinking about because my work it's actually to support the narrative of that project specifically, Yeah. So that's and it changes. It changes a lot, and it depends on the type of the team that you're working with. You have teams that are, for example, that are mainly driven by showrunners with a much more kind of like a commercial approach, who will think more and will ask you to go towards that. And you're going to try to, balance that out and say, okay, come on, but, it's like, really, that's not for it. And there's going to be like the negotiation. And you're going to have other projects driven by directors or even showrunners that have a different perspective, So it will, but I think at the end of the day, what really has an impact on the trends that end up happening in what the music that we use is life again, because we're cinema, filmmaking, series, they're all about life and what we live and what happens, like for example, the reggaeton that was super hype, like I don't know whether it's still there, but like now the drum and bass, it's on, baby, and I love it. I'm like so happy that it's back because I personally like it. So it starts changing, like the sound, it starts changing. And there's so many artists, like when I arrived to Spain, I was very into my Mexican market, like for years. So it was like recognizing Spain. And we have, obviously, as countries, we have a shared, like, culture. But still, we're two different countries. So it was like digging in. And there are some amazing independent artists now in Spain. It's like,
That's what I was gonna ask. Like for the projects that you are working on, like would you be able to set a percentage of independent music that you use
Yeah.
versus
I mean,
the
not per
really
pro-
famous songs?
not per project, but
That's so general.
for the study that we did for the association, so we had to do like kind of like to show the value of our work. We have to say, okay, we cleared so many songs and we did this, no? And I think I cleared like 500 songs that year. And I would like venture to say probably what, like 75% or that or something must be independent music.
It's true that the
That's a lot.
yeah the
Like
whole,
a lot. Yeah.
yeah,
It's-
and statistically for the association, we are almost right now we are almost 60. Back then we were 47, 48 music supervisors in 10 different countries, and the average for all of us it was about 70% of independent music.
Yes, of
So for
course
all the
it is.
catalogs out there and people who are into that, there is opportunity for this. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. And the other one is like the responsibility for us to defend like the musical identities of different regions, which we're gonna go to that in a few moments. I just want to say that when people ask us what are the odds of one of my songs being used in a scene, like honestly, is super low. Not but wait. But because there is this scene that requires this because the narrative, because the genre, because the thing, and it's so particular that it's not like that you can use any song. You need to use this specific thing with these lyrics, with this. So this narrows it down. Everybody talks about the 160,000 songs that are released every day to Spotify or whatever. But you know how many of them are sync ready? Like administratively, legally are there? Is like very few. And from those few, how many of them actually make the work of contacting music supervisors to show them their music? You know how many? Only the ones that we saw in the morning. Like it's even less. So this is your opportunity to actually get a sync, to do this job and to contact us. And in that sense, besides music supervisors, because we have learned today that there are not enough music supervisors for the amount of content that is being generated, who are the other decision makers? If there is not a music supervisor, who could they approach to get their music at least listened to?
I mean, they could go to showrunners and see if like the production company like to reach out to them because maybe the showrunner's not going to listen to it, but maybe the production assistant at the production company would listen to it.
Directors.
Well,
Also.
directors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Directors,
Yeah.
runners,
Yeah.
editors, and
Editors.
like
Trailer houses and editors.
okay, trailer house.
Editor,
Well,
it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Because the editors a lot of times they're the one, I mean, they're putting together the first cuts of something, and a lot of times they will be the ones that put reference music in there. And if they happen to put your song in there and everyone likes it and it is able to be licensed, sometimes it stays.
Yeah.
Sometimes it stays because there's a connection because it works, and also there's that first connection of this is the first time I'm seeing something like the more finished product of the the audiovisual, and then you have it in your head.
Yeah.
I always have to tell the music supervisor, I mean, that production company and the directors, do not fall in love with the reference.
Do not put Little Emily.
No. They want to see your bank. They want to see
Beatles.
they want to yes. They want to see how much money's in your bank account before they would even take your email. But don't fall in love with the reference music. But sometimes they fall in love with the reference music, and if it's able to be licensed, like that's a great opportunity for for smaller independent artists. So yeah, to get in with editors and trailer houses too, because sometimes they use really interesting songs for trailers. Depending
They will. They pay much better.
But like and having like
No, pues sí, güey. It's sorry. It's for
Yeah.
for the Spanish. Because they are like, sí.
Yes, cool. So where do we find these guys, these people?
well, you go on
Because that's the thing, no? Like, yeah, go to the editors. Where is there an editor here? Or
you go to IMDb and you look on who the cast or what show. Wow, man. Do you know what I mean? Like you like certain shows, do the research. You have to do the legwork. You have to go, you have to go and look it up. You can go on Wikipedia sometimes, and who knows. Sit through the credits of your favorite show and your favorite film and write down people's names and then start doing some Google searching.
Yes.
It's not going to come to your door. You actually have to, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like editor unions, director unions, sometimes screenwriter unions too, because sometimes screenwriters, they work on scripts and they put reference songs in the actual script, sometimes depending. Like it doesn't hurt, but you have to actually do the work because
There are other territories where there are no unions whatsoever.
that's true.
And there are some other content that is not related in the IMDb. So I think it's doing the research and just searching and playing a little bit like Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
A little bit of a stalker on social media.
Single. I think it's a much nicer word than stalker.
I like it. I'm going to adopt it. Yes. Good. So now we have very few minutes left. Like we need to start to wrap up. Okay. So I would really like to talk a little bit about what can we tell them out there to approach in the ultimate way to the Ibero-American, how to prepare their catalogs, what are we interested, how do we like to receive music, and how do we handle all this music, and how to handle the expectations regarding when you send music, what is to be expected, what do we do, and what can they expect. So if you can talk a little bit about that, like how do you like to receive music? And
Okay, like in my personal opinion, I prefer to receive all the promos at the info@recordplay.net email, because my personal email, otherwise it's a mess. And it's really like, there's a really nice example, recent one, like of someone who just out of the blue approached that email, and he ended up composing the song for the final credits of a movie I'm working on. So it's really like a tool that I use a lot. But I know that most music supervisors use Disco. I also use it, of course. But yeah, I do a lot of searches on my inbox directly.
how do you search for music? What's your
Well, because if you send it properly and you already put keywords, I just search random keywords so I remember that person
on your email, on the
And then-
on?
Of course, I have my contact list that I brief as well. So yeah, that's
Do you use Spotify to look for music?
yeah, of course, every part. Yeah. Bandcamp, SoundCloud, yes, as well.
Okay, so cool.
I just had a thought and it went away. Hold on. Hurry.
Have
Yeah, it happens. Okay. First of all, you need to be critical of your own work. Do not send every single song that you have ever written.
It's super hard.
You need to self-edit. If that means you have, and don't ask your mom and don't ask your dad, because they're going to be like, it's great. Don't ask a significant other. Ask somebody who is, impartial to say, hey, I'm going to send these 3 songs, 4 songs, 5, that's like most. But that's 5 if they all 5 sound different. If they're all the same, don't send 5. Like there's no point. So, be self-critical and have somebody else listen to be like, what do you think? Like, do you think that this song, like, does it inspire you for anything to help, curate what you're going to send? If send a variety of that shows off what you can do, that have, maybe something with the lyrics are different via each of the songs. The style might be different within your own genre. But don't send 5 things that sound the same. So definitely be intentional with what you're going to send. Make sure that it's got all the metadata tags.
First impression.
It's your first impression. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. Make sure it has all the tags and all your contact information is correct on everything there. Don't bombard people on a Friday. That's the worst day of the week to send it. Don't send it on a Friday and don't send it on a Monday. Don't send it on a Friday, don't send it on a Monday because
Monday, nobody wants.
it's nobody wants to read anything new on a Monday, and on Friday we just want the weekend to come.
I bombard people every day, man.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, they're paying you to bombard them, or they're paying you to bombard other people. But yeah. So do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And there was something else I was gonna say. Disco is good, but I mean, like a Spotify playlist also works well. And
I would say, sorry, be super reactive when they approach you. Like that also helps.
Answer your email.
Yeah.
Fundamental.
Yeah,
See?
because the most reactive person in the end is the one that gets it. Like sometimes in some cases.
Yes.
So
Totally.
I think that's a nice tip for.
And also do your research on who you're sending it to. Do you know what I mean? Like I like if it's a specific director who's directed, some things that you like, do the research on what they've directed and be like, hey, I'm sending you this song because, and don't put like a whole novel about why you're sending each song, but you could give like a little line about like, hey, I'm sending you this because you did this project and it really thought that it would, and it would sit well in this series that you did.
Instead of like a blast email.
Send like a blast email because then, if you really want to get some traction, you need something that's going to jump off the screen to them. So, flatter people a little bit because they like to know that you think that they're cool and that you have paid attention to what they're making.
Yeah. How many emails do you actually answer with music that has been sent to you?
No, I don't answer any. Sorry, like
I do not
post any.
You don't answer.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's that song like maybe one.
It wouldn't be feasible. One a year. No, but not much at all. But I do go back to my emails a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I look music everywhere. I love Shazam. Shazam is one of my favorite tools. I said I've reinvented it like a lot. Like maybe a million people know, but I love it. And so I use Shazam a lot. I use Spotify, of course, and I use my email a lot. So whenever there's like a reference, on style or obviously genre or it sounds like this or whatever, I've actually cleared songs that I had been sent like years ago.
Yes, me
Looking
too.
back, like African style gospel, and then bam, and you
But
clear
that's
it.
which is a greatest tip. Like if
And,
you're going to send an email, do send an email. Send a link that doesn't expire.
Yeah.
Don't attach
Okay.
files.
Yeah.
And add those keywords to the
That helps.
body of the email because these are databases. So we need to be able to find it.
And put down who the rights holders are.
Oh, well, yes.
If you have written a song with someone else, put it in there. Say what the percentages are because that cuts out the legwork for people, and they will be more inclined to be like, oh, look, this song is 100% owned by this person, whatever, and this is the label, or they own it all themselves. It's so much easier. Don't make them hunt down for things. It makes it.
I mean that's appreciated.
It's appreciative.
That's
But
appreciated.
like,
What are you laughing?
It's true because it's funny because I hear this a lot and I wouldn't choose a song over another one because it's easier to nail. Like that's not that true. Always go for the song that I love, and if it's messier to go and clear it, I'm gonna do it because I want that song.
It's true. But if you have two songs,
but you might as well help somebody out.
one is like made by a
Well, obviously, if I like
people,
but I would never pick out a song because it's easier to clear. Anyway, our job, it's a mess to be honest.
I have another
You
trick.
say that, but like we've had to make that decision before. This sometimes you have to because sometimes you don't have the time.
I know,
And
that's another thing.
You just,
When?
he's like, yes, I know.
Whenever you need to have something, for example, that you know that you need for tomorrow, obviously I'm gonna go. But in that case, I'm gonna pitch directly and I'm gonna say like I need a song for this amount of money that I can clear in 20 hours. And I'm gonna have it.
See.
I'm gonna pick out from there.
If you have that in your email and somebody's like, I have this song, I have all the rights, I have this, and it's already in that email, you can go back to that and be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna. You don't waste your time because you already know. Okay, look, these are all the rights
for
holders are.
for
I'm gonna
those
give this person a
situations, for
chance.
sure.
You know? So like, just help them out. Like, don't make it difficult for people to contact you. Don't make it difficult for them to figure out, who has participation in this because it's very frustrating when you are trying to clear something and you have 99% approved, but the one person who is unblacklisted
35.
in their basement because they're somebody's cousin and that you've tried on every single social platform to get in touch with them. Yes, I have tried Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and they don't answer you. Can't you
Smoke signals.
I'm trying to do
So don't
move out like
you have the rights if you don't.
also true.
And that means that if you don't have a paper saying that you have the rights or the representation of the rights, you don't have anything. No, but we swore that I was going to represent it. We were drinking a beer and we made a deal. That is not having the rights. So everything in written, agreements and everything, it's super important. Like, don't say that. And make everything match. If you tell me that this is from one composer and then I go to the PRO and I see two composers, it's something weird is going on. And I prefer to say, okay, so next. No?
Yeah.
Cool. So, any questions? This is the last few minutes that we have. Please.
Yo soy de Perú, soy supervisora musical en Perú, que ha sido muy cuesta arriba porque es además me dedico especialmente a las películas independientes. Entonces es todo un proceso de educación a los realizadores, a los músicos, tratar de que todo esté dentro de un marco formal. Y quería referirme a la realidad post pandemia que enfrentan las producciones independientes.
Oh, okay. So she's a music supervisor in Peru. And she says that it has been really difficult because she has been dealing with these independent filmmakers who don't know things. And she has to be having to educate these filmmakers and also the music industry, the musicians.
A formalization process for everyone.
You do speak English.
I speak English, but I want to be clearer.
Yeah.
Entonces, post pandemia, lo que yo he visto en el proceso es que, por un lado, el golpe a los realizadores independientes ha sido muy duro a nivel de presupuesto.
Claro.
Y por otro lado, las disqueras y las editoras vieron el boom de las plataformas y aunque veníamos de un mercado pequeño, lo que empezó a pasar es, ok, ya no nos daban todos los medios, sino si estaba con una plataforma, era la primera pregunta que recibías, ¿con qué plataforma va a estar? Pero el independiente, al menos en Perú y en muchos mercados pequeños, todavía no tiene su proyecto vendido.
Claro.
Necesita tener todos los derechos. ¿Cómo han lidiado con esos?
Somos mexicanos.
You can do it. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, so she's saying that, post-pandemic, there's the boom of productions, specifically indie productions out of Peru. But the music publishers and the labels in the territory said, wow, there's this big boom of productions. Let's bump up the fees.
I'm sorry. The boom of production, no, but the low budget, the budget went lower.
The budgets got lower.
After the pandemic.
After the pandemic. And, but the music publishers and the record labels were maintaining these fees, or if not increasing the fees because of the, increase in productions. And so now, especially with all the streamers, the rights holders are asked as one of the questions about when they get a request is, what streamer are you on? What platform you're going to be on? And they will, but they will charge.
They are not working with platforms.
No. But you need all those rights.
You need wide exploitation terms, is what you're saying.
Yes.
To be able to have your project, to be able to exploit your project.
Exactly.
And to distribute, to be able to. So what I do with Mexican productions is I haven't personally felt a big increase in the prices, to be honest. Maybe I'm crazy, but I haven't felt like a big
Oh, I have.
See?
Ooh.
I don't think so. But I think what I always try to do when I'm with independent projects in Mexico is to explain whenever I reach out to say, okay, maybe I'm asking you for wide exploitation terms, but to be very honest, an independent Mexican film the maximum it could do would be to hit the cinemas with, I don't know, maybe 20 copies, to stay in the cinemas like for a week, to never go out of Mexico beyond a festival circuit, because it's the reality of our cinema. If it's not with like a big production, if we're talking independent cinema, that's the reality. And I mean, sometimes it's helped when you take the time to give all this explanation and to say, okay, obviously I'm asking you for these terms because if we want for all of this effort to have the possibility to get anywhere, we need those rights, But to be honest and to be coherent with the reality of the industry, it's potentially gonna get here.
So Paulina was talking about what in La Asociación we are doing regarding understanding the market and how it flows. And this is super important work because this has the ability to sensibilize, thank you. Every actor from the ecosystem. So what are we producing? What are the amounts that are actually available and what you can actually charge, quote for a license. So at La Asociación, we're working on the second report of our ecosystem. Get in touch with us, with La Asociación. Also, music supervisors in Spanish, information and whatever. Please reach out. And this is one of the forms.
We're super nice and we are a big support group.
Look at us.
I swear.
I was
¿Qué onda, Fred? Sorry.
trying just to suggest exactly that, but maybe working with a culture ministry in
Yes. Also.
developing countries because it's really needed.
Yeah.
Although
Thank you very much. Fred, here you have the...
I was curious when you did the report and you mentioned 30% of the music being used among the members being major owned and 70% being independent. If you also have the breakdown, including stock music, it's a bit of a
No, we shouldn't
disruptive.
include it, no?
What music?
No, but it's
Stock
really...
music.
Oh,
It's because I don't know if you saw it recently. Russell Emmanuel, which owns Extreme Music, went out on this interview, kind of bragging about 80% of music being used in visual media being stock. I don't know if that figure is accurate. What I can tell you as a soup, I think it's a bit excessive, but I mean, just watching content on Netflix, on Amazon, and on our feeds, we can all understand that there is tons of that generic stock music being used. And just, I wanted to know what's your stake. I mean,
But also it has to do with the deals that these libraries are doing directly with platforms, like blanket licenses. Yes, of course, like for nothing.
I also think it depends on the programming because you get more and more streamers that are now doing unscripted, reality shows. And so a lot of that is library music, a lot of that production music because there is not the budget to pay for original music. So if you're churning out a ton of like unscripted programming, the majority of the stuff that you're going to be using is stock music.
And
that adds into the feed. Like if it's all considered audiovisual, it all goes into the same, the same.
Bueno, there is a new role, not new, but it's gaining track because of this, because of the usage of libraries. That is the musicalizator. Would that be a word? Like
musicalizador.
Musicalizador. It is like a role. People who are choosing from libraries for I am also like but it is like someone has to do it, right? To go into the libraries and just pick things, and they don't have to license, they don't have to do anything, just pick them and give them to the editor and just put them there.
That's what we ask the music libraries to do. That's you send them the brief of what your thing is. You're like, hey, send me some playlists from your catalog, and then
someone has doing it. They're doing it with someone say, so this song for this thing from this moment, and then you send it to the editor and you just put it like this. So it's like the El Musicalizador. This is a new thing going on, and I have seen that they are hiring composers of scoring and music editors to do this job. So this is something different, and maybe someone who is interested in doing, they can start.
Me personally, for my projects like stock music, I use it in a very limited way when it's when you can actually use it and when it's justified in a way. If I'm at a nightclub and I have to work on the sound design of the exterior, obviously I'm not gonna go. And if I can't alargar el uso anterior, I'm not gonna license a song to like mix it under just for the song.
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
the
use a
background, like,
library. But I'm not gonna use stop music for my no.
Yeah.
So very little.
Yeah. We would love to keep on this conversation going forever with you guys, but you know, time is a tyrant, and this is the end of this panel. Thank you very much, ladies, for sharing your experience and your knowledge. You're doing it in such a fun way as well. It's been really fun. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, Primavera Pro, Unison, and Too Young for curating this and the digital licensing sessions. See you on the next. There's going to be tons of events. So,
Yes.
yes. Thank you. Oigan, gracias. Muchas gracias.